This naughty boy's name was George Barnes. George Barnes was naughty. Now, he was a nice boy in that he dressed well and he spoke well and his family had money. But what made him so naughty was his weird hobby. What George loved to do more than anything else. George liked to take some pantyhose and put them on his head and rob the liquor store. Oh, he loved it. And he did not need the money, he needed the thrill. He was content to rob the liquor stores all around this neighborhood, okay? Until he met the right woman. Everything changed when he met and fell in love with a lady named Catherine Thorne. Catherine Thorne realized, ladies, that she had herself a fixer-upper. She would say, George, this has got to stop. This will stop. You cannot act like this. You could be so much more if you could do something. If you would merely apply yourself, George, you could be public enemy number one. Yeah! Catherine bought George a lovely, shiny, fully automatic, air-cooled, magazine-fed Thompson submachine gun. Chambered in a 45 caliber with it. 50-round magazine. Nothing says I love you forever, my sweetheart, like an automatic weapon of your very own. She presented this bizarre, inappropriate gift to her man, informed him that she was to accompany him on their new hobby, robbing banks. No, not Bonnie and Clyde. Catherine's job was to take the bag of money from the teller when they would push it through the cage window, and George's new job was really just to stand there holding the chopper. But when they would hand the money to Catherine, George would get all excited, he would get so happy, and he would... Yeah, he would shoot his name in the wall, kind of like connect the dots. And he would write George with a smiley face, and the newspapers began to call him Machine Gun Kelly. And do try to keep in mind how unpopular big banks were in the 1930s. Now, when the Memphis people would read in the newspaper that Machine Gun Kelly had robbed the First National Bank, they would say, First National? Now, isn't that the bank that foreclosed on your mother's house? First National. Didn't they repossess our church bus? First National. Bless their hearts. We need to go over this word, this phrase. In the American South, I don't mean to bless your heart like when a little kid skins their knee on the sidewalk and bless you. I don't even mean that one. I'm talking about the bad one. Like when you say, hey, 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 hey. Look at Linda's new haircut. Bless her heart. That's the one. We're heading into a neighborhood called Soulsville. Soulsville is where they invented soul music. And this is not the richest neighborhood monetarily, but you can bet your sweet Aunt Martha that this is the richest neighborhood musically. Right? Dig? Follow me. You're not going to see a bunch of Mercedes with a soccer ball sticker on the back that says Britney. This is a neighborhood where they invented soul music. And I'll play you a little bit of it while we head over to Stack's recording studio. Don't know why I love like I do. All the changes that you put me through. Take my money and my cigarettes. I ain't seen how no hell you get on. Lois asked me the other day if that's the song that the fish sings when you push the red button on the Billy Bass that you buy at the Walgreens. You know what I told him? Bless your heart. Some of the people that recorded here in this building include Aretha Franklin, Otis Redding, Isaac Hayes, Al Green, the Bar-Kays, the Staples Singers, Sammy Dave, Booker T and MGs. Let me put it this way. Some of the people on this bus may have children who were conceived while listening to music that was recorded here. Now, what made it work so well? The guy that ran this place, Jim Stewart, did not give a ripping snort what you looked like. He cared how you sounded. Of course, this is back in the days when ugly people were still allowed to record popular music. Jim Stewart didn't give a flip what kind of hairdo, skin color, or clothing style you had. He cared how you sounded. For that reason, the house band was racially integrated. And in the 1960s in Memphis, that blew a lot of people's little tiny mind. Have a white kid on the guitar, black kid on bass, Puerto Rican kid on drums. Sam Phillips didn't give a rip, and neither did Jim Stewart. And it's one of the ways that Memphis used music as a battering ram to knock down some rather irritating, stupid barriers that existed for a long time. Now, you can tell it used to be a movie theater, right? They gathered that. When you go to the movie theater, they have the curtains on the walls, right? Do you know what's under the curtains? Every 10 feet mounted into the wall is a 15-inch speaker. That is why every 10 feet. That's why when you go to the movies, you can feel your guts shaking around. You're in a room full of 15s. Now, when they were converting that theater into a studio, the musicians told the contractors, do not touch the 15s, leave them in there. And they would connect their amplifier to this room full of 15-inch speakers, and they would make the plaster fall out of the ceiling. And when you hear Stax music, you're hearing a lot of extra low frequencies that don't naturally occur in a conventional studio. You're hearing a lot more kick drum, a lot more bass drum, a lot more bass guitar. A lot of low frequencies. In the music industry, we say that there's a lot of booty in the mix. And they also say Stax music's got a nice fat bottom. What they mean is there are lots of low frequencies happening. Another cool thing about this neighborhood is down that hill there used to be a church pastored by a fellow named Reverend Franklin, who thought that everyone was coming to listen to him preach, but a lot of them were coming to listen to his daughter, Sister Aretha, who sang in the choir. That's the kind of neighborhood this is. And another person who recorded here was a fellow named Albert King. Although most people don't know who Albert King is, or was, is. It seems like everybody knows of several guitar players who made their fortune out of trying to sound like Albert King on the guitar. Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, Johnny Winter. List goes on and on. All these cats are playing Albert King licks. And you can imagine how delighted Albert King was that all of these little pasty hippies are making a fortune trying to sound like him. And as a result, he was extremely mean and extremely bitter, hard to work with. Albert King. He was notorious about stopping in the middle of a show and firing the bass player in mid-song. I heard him once in '92 stop the song, ask the audience, is there a drummer in the house? He said, we got to get rid of this Kmart drummer I got up here. Now, he got even meaner. But an American television show called Hee Haw borrowed, let me not mince words, they stole one of his lyrics. They secured no copyright, they procured no royalty, and they obtained no permission. They just thought, well, who's going to know? Who's going to care? It's some soul label in Memphis, some blues player. We've been ripping them off for years. Who's going to know? Who's going to care? I'll tell you who. $1.4 million lawsuit. That's who cares. See if you can spot the lyric that was stolen. On under band side, I've been down since I began to grow. If it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have no luck at all. That is the registered copyrighted intellectual property of Albert King. Anyone need some crack? While we're here, good crack. I keep talking about how open-minded Jim Stewart was. Here's how open-minded this dude was. One day, they had been recording a band who had traveled here in a bus. A long time ago, bands would travel in a bus, and they had the name of the band painted on the side. You do not do that nowadays. Unless the name of your band is Free Musical Equipment. But these guys had driven to Memphis all the way from Georgia, and they had finished recording, and they were loading up their equipment and packing the bus back up. Jim Stewart was sitting behind the control board listening to the playback. So, in walks one of the band members. They say, Mr. Jim, Otis, the bus driver, Otis wants to sing you a song. Open-minded. Jim Stewart says, all right, send in Otis, tell him you got 5 minutes. In walks Otis, sang a little song called These Arms of Mine.